Stewart, it's nice to spend some time with you. Look, we've had a lot of conversations with superintendents around some hot topics and things that are sort of front page news and things that we I think as community members are paying attention to, and then those that maybe we're not, just because we're not in the weeds of what it's like to run a district. Right. I'd like to get your perspective on funding and the ways in which districts are looking at corporate America or the private sector in offsetting some budget shortfalls in creative ways. How do you look at it in Alaska when you look at resources and providing additional opportunities from a funding perspective from outside or our alternative resources?
Probably our most important resource will always be a teacher in a classroom. And we have fallen into a mold to where that teacher in the classroom has to be that traditional teacher. And when we talk about funding, throwing money at projects and things is kind of the old paradigm. What I believe that we really need to look for is that knowledge economy that can come to us from industry. So when we have a school that only has 2 teachers in it and we have grades K through 12, I can't put enough computers and distance learning programs into that environment and still create an engaging, vibrant setting. So we've been reaching out to industry leaders to come in and teleconference and visit and provide knowledge economy based information to connect with students and engage with them in projects. And that has been a force multiplier. So reaching out to industry and asking for funding to buy things, computers and devices, and help funding.
Short-term fix is what I'm hearing.
Right. The long-term fix is really embedded in a knowledge economy on what can industry bring to us in project management, rapid prototyping, pedagogy, those kinds of things that we could never spend enough money on professional development to create in our schools, especially our small schools.
Stewart, we're seeing a nice shift, I think, both as I'm a parent and also as someone who's worked in education, that we've gone from a consumer model of students consuming education to creating at all ages and levels. And with that, we're starting to see a different approach in the ownership of that learning from the student. Mm-hmm. And I'd be curious if you could talk about where you see the future of communicating student learning outward, from the school out to the parent, in a way that's supportive of that learning, and then also the information that teachers need to really personalize that. Where do you see that future of communicating student learning?
We're never going to step away from the human interface of face-to-face interaction. Technology does give us an opportunity to help document, communicate, and individualize mapping, competency-based style mapping of a set of student skills. We talk about badging and micro-credentialing and getting that kind of information to parents, making it online and accessible. Those are kind of the hot topics. But in the end, I think when a student is able to engage their learning and their parents are buying into that positive, personal, future vision of that student, their purpose of schooling, where they're going, if that's on the table and a part of our discussion as we move a child through their individualized learning, that we can improve our communication. I feel like I'm butchering this, so I'm going to go ahead and destroy your thing. But where I'm really heading with this is that it's the parent-teacher conference was about how is a child doing on a particular given set of standards. What we really need to move into now is how is a child pursuing building a positive personal vision of their future, and how does the parent buy into that and support that. That level of communication is more important, I think, than being able to go through a checklist of standards to see where a child is performing. We need a strength-based model to talk about what a child's achieving, as opposed to leading off with a deficit model of, given this bank of standards, which ones haven't they achieved yet? It's you don't build a kid through their weakness. It must be a strength-based model. So communication needs to be focused on strength-based accomplishment of a child.
And understanding the impact of that language is what I'm hearing.
And where is it headed?